For the past 3 years, I've been hunting red snapper. I've changed spots, changed guns, changed wetsuits, changed boats, changed girlfriends. I've prayed, cried, cursed, begged, meditated, manifested. All for a fish that seems to be pretty easy to catch. Still, nothing. It feels like I've shot everything but red snapper. Some guys chase trophies, some chase records, some just want food for the table. Me, I'm just trying to meet a fish that at this point feels personal. Wrong weather, wrong timing, wrong depth. I've had them just out of range, I've lost them due to gear failure, lost them to sharks. I've had days where I didn't see any at all. It'd be easier to give up, chalk it up to bad luck and move on. But I keep coming back, because I know one day it's going to line up just right. And when it does, I need to be in the water.
Welcome back to another episode of One Up, One Down Adventures. If you couldn't tell, this is not the boat that I'm normally out on. That's because we got Henry and brother Dale, and we're about to head pretty far offshore, maybe out to the springs, maybe out to a bunch of rock piles. We don't know. But the goal today is red snapper, red grouper, big other snapper, maybe another mutton. We're the same boat ramp out of Clearwater that we've been out the past couple of videos, and we're gonna take this big boat through her paces. See you guys on the water.
Welcome back underwater, everybody, and what a blessing it was to be out on this day. Just flat, calm waters, everybody I love on the boat with me. We got Will, Henry, Evan, Dale.
There's a huge fucking shark that just ate your fish, like a fucking monster shark.
Speaking of Dale, Will, Henry, they're right there. Eric, Evan, and I were in the water. The sharks were not great on this day, but honestly, it wasn't that bad. The weather was super nice. The water was pretty clear. Really nothing to complain about. And as soon as we hopped in, actually, we were warming up, loading the guns. Will hopped in the water with us. A school of mahi came in, but they were kind of small. So at first I was like, oh, I'm going to see what's going on down at the bottom. And these sharks kind of came in. I have no idea what species of shark that is. I probably should know. I see them a lot, but yeah, no idea. So we were hanging out on the surface for a little bit, and the mahi came in a little bit closer. And I was like, you know what? Let's get the big camera out and take some shots of these things, because they are super duper cool, these little ones. And after a while, Will, Evan, Eric, and we started taking some shots on the school, trying to get the bigger ones, and this is the result of that. I'm trying to find the biggest ones because I know this school is like, these fish are like a taco each. If you watch, God, there's this, I'll tag him in the description. There's this one guy that is in the mountains in the Pacific Northwest. I watch him, and he makes these trout tacos whole, with whole rainbow trout. And that's what we did with these mahi. It was super good. And basically, you just gut them and pull the head out with the guts. You leave them skin on and whole. And you fry them in a pan, and then you just put the tortilla with the cheese and the avocado and everything around the fish once you've cooked it. It's super delicious. And that only works because they're so small, because the bones are small enough that you just kind of pull it out. Either you chew it and the bone breaks, or mostly what you do is you just grab it by the spine and the whole rack just falls out. Anyway, shot the mahi. I was like, okay, that's the biggest one in the school. And it was still kind of small. And I was like, okay, I'm going to go to bottom. We're in 102, 103 feet here. So it is a bit of a ways down to the bottom. Of course, Evan is safetying me. We were doing a tandem dive system this summer, which was actually really good because he saved me on a really hairy dive, and it was because of the tandem dive that he was able to be on top of me so quickly. That happened on a different day this summer. But here we are down at the bottom, and I'm realizing that the bottom is like, there's not any real structure. I see a mangrove here. I'm kind of thinking about it. I'm like, I don't like this shot. That fish isn't that big. So I just kind of leave him be. But you can see there's no real structure here. So I'm like, thinking that we should make a move. When I get to the surface, I tell them, hey guys, we should probably make a move because there's nothing here. But I just wanted to show you guys what the bottom did look like, because they were catching fish on rod and reel. They were catching little red grouper, they were catching a snapper. So not every spot that you pull up to has to have a huge relief to hold fish, but when you're spearfishing, you want that relief so that you're able to not have the fish spook. You see Evan was right on top of me here. So here we're on a different spot. Hop in, and almost as soon as I hop in, there's another school of mahi. When you're in the Gulf and you're not like way far out, 90% of the time when you see mahi around, they're going to be these little taco-sized ones. That doesn't really stop me from shooting them, because these little taco-sized ones are like probably like months old. So I don't feel bad about shooting such sustainable fish, especially because of how delicious they are. Snag that guy right there. Eric takes his shot and misses. And we've got ourselves a little mahi taco. And you can see how the other ones stayed around. I tried to like let Eric reload and keep the other ones around by keeping it on the line. But alas, he seemed uninterested after that. So I land this fish. Got him. Throw him in the boat, and there's more sharks. They're not terribly bothersome. They're just kind of around. Not super bad. And then moving to another spot again. This spot is shallower. This one's in like 94 feet, and the fish here were way up in the column for some reason. So I actually never even this whole time we were on this spot. I never actually went to the bottom, because I'm sitting here and here's the AJs up here, and then right under the AJs is all these mangoes, and then under the mangoes were bigger marks that we were assuming were red snapper. The thing on the bottom was tiny. It was like a little, basically just some reef balls in 94 feet, but was enough to hold all these fish. So shot this mango, and we had seen a big bull shark right before this, like a huge one, probably one of the biggest I'd ever seen in the water. It was right when we hopped in, so I'm trying to like pull this thing into me as I'm coming up, make sure that I'm not dangling him. I'm still kind of dangling him. I'm doing a bad job here. But yeah, Henry recently got a Rodan on the dilly gaff, and so if you've seen my videos with Henry in the past, we had to anchor, which wasn't like that terrible, because I anchored with Drake all the time last summer. It was just so nice now to be on the big boat with Henry and just not have to worry about anything. You just hit spot lock and get in the water, and it allowed us to spot lock right over this tiny spot with barely anything on the bottom. We spot locked right over where we were marking fish, and we're able to dive straight down through it. Here, me and Evan are diving down. I'm kind of sitting here looking up, because Evan and I said we were going to do a tandem. So I was just like, okay, is he on his way down? I'm just checking. We had planned on dropping all the way to bottom, but I wasn't feeling super great about this dive for whatever reason. It's been a minute since the dive happened, so I don't remember why I wasn't feeling going to the bottom. So I actually planed out here at like 50 feet. I was like, I'm going to sit and wait for something. Evan lines up on this Almaco and blasts him. Almaco are great poke, great sashimi. They're basically like Gulf yellowjack, although there are yellowjack in the Gulf. They're just like, you have to go out way deeper to the big wrecks to find them. And when you're out on those wrecks, the sharks are so bad that as soon as you shoot a yellowjack, it's very hard to land them, because the sharks just swarm the yellowjack. Bigger fish like AP, you tend to be able to get away with it, because the AP will swim away from the sharks. They have a hard time eating the AP outright. But with the yellowjack, they just smoke them. All right. Now I'm diving. We've got guts from the Almaco jack floating down. Right, we got a little bit of chum in the water from this fisherman, and I see this guy. Thought it was a mutton at first, and then I was like, oh no, that is a red snapper. Blast him, stoned. Really anticlimactic, I must say. Like, all of that time looking for that fish, and there's not even a fight.
Woo! Red snapper, baby!
That did not stop me from celebrating, however, because it's still a fish that I've wanted for so long. And sometimes that's just when it happens, on those random days that you're not really expecting it, and you just happen across the fish that you've been looking for.
That's what I'm talking about! Let's fucking go! Woo! You know how many years I've been going for these fucking things?
And there it is. My first red snapper landed, and probably gonna be my biggest for a while. Hopefully I get better at shooting them because they're really not that hard to shoot. But I'm not that great at shooting them. I will see you guys in the next episode. Thank you so much for watching.
There's a mahi snapper.
There's my second mahi. Shot.
Got some burgers at this Sliders place. Got our little snapper. Freaking stud, honestly. For my first one, I'm pretty pleased. Let's go. I'm trying to measure it out, get the right size canvas to print it on. Then I have to dry the fish so that I'm able to control exactly how the paint sticks. Then color mixing. This is kind of not an exact science, just kind of mixing it, trying to figure it out. I end up doing a run of just straight red at the end, but I'm trying to match as close as I can the different parts of the fish with color. But the real magic comes when I blend it all, and once I blend it like this, it really creates a much better picture. The canvas over it, press down, make sure every single part of this canvas is touching the fish, press in, then I'm able to pick the canvas up and off, get my final impression. Here's the run of red that I did. I also like to blend with a sponge sometimes, it helps. Then I wash the fish off, bring it out to the fillet table, and fillet it for meat to eat for dinner tonight.